oyster roast. Excuse me, before Vicky does that, just a reminder, our district governor is visiting us next week. She and her husband will be here Thursday morning for our meeting, so everybody be on your best behavior. Try not to swear. If you can wear long pants, that's great. You know, those sorts of things.
Oh, come on.
And Justin, yeah, I'll get, if you need a pair, I'll get you a pair of pants. No.
Just the bottoms. Just the bottoms.
Yeah, absolutely. Whatever you do up top. No, but we'd love to have a great turnout for her visit. Those of you who want to, the board is going to have dinner with her and her husband at Southwind. Is it 5:30? What did I say? Is it 5:30 or 6? I forgot what I said. All right. It's either 5:30 or 6. Wednesday night, we'll have dinner at Southwind. I'll look back over my email I sent to her, ask Tom to send it out. Just do me a favor, if you're interested in going, let me know so I can let Dean be prepared for that. Don't forget, we have a board meeting also on November the 8th. If you want to come check out financials, all those other things will be available. Roadside cleanup, November the 11th with a rain date of the 18th. Those of you who are new, we selected the strip of road down Church Street that connects with Route 14. So basically from Route 14 all the way to the Social Services Building. It's a long distance, but we get enough hands out there, it won't be bad. If you got kids, grandkids, wives, girlfriends, bring them both.
What date?
The 11th of November. I think they said 8 o'clock. We'd love to have a great turnout for that. I'll turn it over to Vicky right now. Should have some exciting news. I heard the ticket count, which we're doing great. You want to bring us up to speed?
Happy. Right now, our ticket sales are 118, and I was shooting for 125, so I know there's still more tickets out there that will be coming in, and we'll be selling more at the door, and I would just love for somebody else to do that.
That would be a great problem, wouldn't it?
I do have our provider for the oysters, again, was a little higher than we've been paying in the past, but he has made a wonderful offer to meet us. He's going to have 3,000 oysters here delivered Saturday morning. He has an ice box in his truck. He's leaving his truck here. Whatever bags we pull out, throw the bags in the back. That's what he's charging us for. Whatever we don't use, he is very happy to take that. There's no problem with the room. So we are
That's great.
big comfort zone there.
Done.
And I'm making a Costco run this morning, and as Jack has already indicated, there's going to be a big event here tomorrow afternoon. So I'm going to start kind of just wandering through here tomorrow morning, loading stuff from the storage unit. And one of the room members, he's going to meet me here, have the door open, look at the store stuff there, that little area there. So hopefully tomorrow afternoon.
What time can we help you? What time
So
do
I'm
you?
now just going to be, I'm just a nervous person, I'm going ready for this all tomorrow.
Okay.
And anyway, but tomorrow afternoon, I think the event starts here at 3:30, so can I get some feel for the people that are developing this time? You think we should be in the parking lot, it's probably packed.
I can help, but it'll have to be after 5:30 for me.
Yeah, I think it would be, because we need to put up the, are you going to put up the ABC fencing and everything? We're not doing that, okay.
They didn't say anything about it, so I'm not gonna do it.
Okay, that makes life easier.
Easier to apologize.
I put up mine tonight at about, I would be with Jonathan at about 5:30.
Does that work for everybody else?
We all started kind of meandering in about 4:30, we started at 2:30, right? So about 4:30, I think these awards broke out.
First shots will be fired at 4:15.
Yeah, I think it's gonna be pretty crowded here. I'm gonna be here early, there's something I can do without.
So can we kind of shoot for 4:30, and whoever can be here, you know, again, it's all hands down, the more people that are here, the quicker we can get out of here, and we're ready for the big event the next day.
And what time do you need everybody there Saturday?
Saturday, it starts at 2, so me, Ring and Twisted again, I think if we got here about 12:30,
Okay.
that's a good time?
Well, if we
We
would
would
have,
have about 6 people here, so, you
Yeah.
know, you want me to stand
the
around.
biggest thing, whether we do it Friday night or Saturday morning or early afternoon, is to move and adjust those big picnic tables. So we will need people to kind of adjust, we don't have to move many, but that's the heavy thing, we need to move those big picnic tables and
Okay.
adjust that.
So 12:30 Saturday?
Yeah, that sound good to
Okay,
everybody?
sure.
Okay, now,
I need a couple of hands to help me with ice and stuff.
What time?
12:30.
12:30?
okay, now does anybody remember, and Charlie doesn't, the grate that we use for the order? You got it? Okay, all right, good. And the music, I failed miserably at that. Tommy, Erickson, he kind of, dropped the ball with me, and then my backup was gonna be, William Earl, and he's just moved into his house, he's got kids and soccer and all that, so that's not gonna be a possibility for him. I have a Bose sound dock. If anybody has an iPhone, which I don't, we can use this. I think it's a wonderful, plus for the event. But if anybody would like to take this, I'll talk to you with it and get you access to it. It is a Bose system, so it's gonna, the sound's gonna be wonderful. Anybody got an iPhone? They want to-
Don't have what? Well, you can upload the Pandora, or download the Pandora app pretty quick. I mean, that's very simple.
I bet you named every other one. Okay.
You can do that with one arm. You're fine. You're fine. So, guys, long story short, phenomenal job on ticket sales so far. Great job, but we're not done yet. We've got to be there Friday afternoon to help set up. Saturday at 12:30 to get ice set up. Work's not done yet. Everything's packed away and after the event. So,
But again, thank everybody.
yeah, great start. Great start.
Very happy.
Absolutely.
You know, this is an all-you-can-eat event, and being a bean server for the past 3 years, we always run out of beans. And so it embarrasses me when they come up and say, well, it says here on the, you know, all you can eat, and you ran out of beans, so.
Great. There you go. That's thinking outside the box.
I am bringing small
Well done.
spoons.
Okay, so we need more food this year than we did last. That's what we need. Because that serving line, it does run out. People come up there, and give you a funny look.
That may just be you, though. I mean,
You think that's the beans?
exactly. Except may not be the beans, Art. Just saying. But and
They don't want to tell you that you are over serving the beans and she's bringing you a small
exactly.
A teaspoon into it.
No, kudos and
Knows we've got 100 pounds of pork coming in here. Patsy, you're doing how many cold slaws in the big silver bin?
I just upped my game.
he's got called out
Thank
publicly.
you.
Heads of cabbages today, that's
Wow.
all I know.
Thank you to everybody who's helped.
4 number 10 cans of beans, so now I will up it to 6.
I'd go 6. As a front man for beans and an expert on beans.
A lobbyist,
6 will do it.
apparently.
We've noticed that.
Apparently.
I'm gonna get 2 more number 10 cans, we'll have 6 number 10, 60 pounds.
All right, we're in the weeds a little bit now. Vicky, phenomenal job. Thank you for all that you do. Thank you. Because I know I didn't want to be doing this, and she has busted her tail on it, so thank you. That's all I have.
I just went to 122.
122. Hot damn. Oh, sorry. Hot darn. That's amazing. I'm going to chalk it up to my exceptional leadership. We go with that? All right, works for me. We'll talk afterwards. All right. Art, we got you 25 minutes, man. You good?
25 minutes.
Oh, no.
No more bean talk, though. And no roosters, no beans.
As a bean expert,
All right, you're on, brother. What do you think?
I need the lights out, though, if someone
I got
could
it.
step back there and do that.
Where are you standing?
I'll be over here in the spotlight. This is the guy I used to be. Right here. Handsome, debonair. We got this is the studio there in Richmond. I had 7
What's all that
employees,
dark stuff up on the top of your head?
a wig. And I was in business, and it's another whole kind of little spot in my evolution as a mature adult. I'm gonna show you are slides that were taken when I was in Richmond in business. All the windows that I've done in this community, you know, like the visitor center, I got some things there, and the Richardsons and some churches around here. And a lot of you have, Danny's got one of my windows, and Dennis has one, and Tom has one, and John Dayton had one. And the rest of you are missing out on having a great window if you don't ask me. So these are old slides, so this is just a candy show. I want you to just relax. I'll make a few comments about what you're seeing, but minimal. I don't want to bore you, you don't care anyway. But we're here in the morning. We've had a lot of business, which we needed to get done. So this is a kind of relax. Everyone loves stained glass. Now the first three things here is going to be just light. Well, not even that. What happened? There it is. You know, this is the kind of thing I did up in Richmond. You know, this is a home out in the west end of Richmond, a doorway system. This thing isn't a self. This thing here is a slide projector, by the way. And this is the rest of the house.
Holy mackerel.
Wow. This is a church out on the south side of Richmond. These windows are 12 feet tall. That gives you a little idea of the scale here. This is a brand new sanctuary out there, and I think I might have some, yeah, there's the cross. And that cross, again, is probably about a 10-foot cross. Here. And there are the hands of God reaching down. That's the and these are just windows that we put in various churches. That's the Hotel Jefferson, and that's Tom in front. And the windows in back are quite large if you've been in that lobby. And we repaired all the windows in the Hotel Jefferson, all in the lobby there, and then we had to make two new ones. The new ones are the ones you see there.
When you say we, who are you talking about?
When I say I had 7 employees, and they were primarily because I was close to the VCU campus and had been there on the faculty. A lot of times I'd get graduate students in there in the art school who wanted to get paid and make a living, and they worked for me. That's primarily. But I had a couple, you know, just from the community that were good craftsmen, and I also had to have people who could install. And yeah, there's another photograph of the Hotel Jefferson. Wait a minute. Now it's going backward. The system is a bit flawed. That's the Lemaire restaurant, because we also did etching and, you know, like over the library here, I did a piece for the library here in Athens. Same. I may not get through this.
It really did like
You gotta have a sense of humor.
you get through this just how many times?
Well, there. This is a large, this was a 12-foot, half-inch glass piece I put in the Peking restaurant down in Chocolate Bottom. And this is the detail down at the bottom of the window. And it's still there if you ever go to the Peking restaurant. Wait a minute. I can't get this. There. That's the whole window.
Art, can you talk about that? What's the process of that etching?
You simply take a piece of clear glass, mask it,
Uh-huh.
draw what you want on it, lettering, Lemaire Restaurant,
Uh-huh.
Joe's Inn, or whatever, and then you take it and get it sandblasted. And I've done some things here, Century 9 Methodist down here, we did some pieces for them. Howard Hudgens has a sandblaster and did a great job, very professional. Well, this is a Holiday Inn, some edge work.
How do you get the light and dark tones on the sandblaster?
It's just a contrast between the frost and the clear. So if there's any color or anything coming through, that's just the background. This is a window in a Methodist church out on the south side of Richmond, and it's for a family. Someone died, and he had a great interest in sailing. So you can see I put some anchors in there. This is in Farmville, just a series of windows. Interesting stuff with Henry Jones. Just that little window over there on the side. Pretty complicated window. You can see that big carp in there. Whoa.
Whoa.
All right, you do the work, where we install and become a studio or do we do it at home or?
Oh no, you have to have always had a studio space someplace in Richmond. You got to have that because there's a lot of equipment involved, glass storage, everything else. So you have to have a separate space.
Then you have to carry it.
Pardon me?
Then you have to carry it.
Yes, we carry glass.
So did
And
you
we
do the
even worked.
transport?
Look, we were up on scaffolding here. This is a fellow that worked for me. He worked for me actually, a 10-year guy with me, buddies. And this is a installation we're making. You can see it's a lot of windows. But if you look carefully at the window, a lot of it's repetitious. You know, it's just the similar designs on all three of those windows. So it's not too hard to make those. That was my kitchen window in Brandon when I lived there. And all that is a wispy clear glass looking out on our backyard. And then these flowers appear randomly in the glass. It was very nice to stand there at the kitchen and have that light coming in.
Art, do you have to inventory all this? You must have an awful need for all the different colors.
Yeah, you have to have cases of glass. You order large cases of stained glass. This is a window. This was in Brandon Mill. This was a huge window. This is 8-foot circular window, which is, you know, that's a big window. And it was over their front door, and they had a little landing there. And that's another window. There's a lot of painting on this. See all the detail on those flowers to give detail. Kitchen cabinets.
Art, do you use a special type of glass cutter or just the?
No, you can buy them at Mullins.
And then what do you use to hold it together? How long does it take for that to cure?
No curing.
Okay.
You buy cases of lead and rolls of copper foil. There's two different systems that you can use. The Tiffany style was copper foil. And that's a window if you want a lot of, see the clear, clean lines on this window here? They're very straight and controlled. That's lead. And almost 99% of church windows are lead. All the cathedrals you see over in Europe, that's lead. Copper foil was for windows that had a lot of detail, and it would be an interruption to visually if you use lead. Transoms. That is me and my butt going up a scaffold. And this is in South Bend, Indiana, at Notre Dame University. And they were putting up a gigantic facility so that when their fans come in on the weekends to watch the sporting events at Notre Dame, they had this big motel there. Well, this is the lobby. And we had that frame up there that's we've already installed that. But the frame was made here, it was aluminum. And we had it made in Richmond at a time, they just started to be able to use aluminum in this system. So we had to hire a gigantic truck to haul it up there. And then we came up with our glass panels, and our panels go into all those spaces around there. So basically, it was pretty much a geometric window when we finished. And of all things, we didn't get a picture of it before we left. So I called up there and talked to probably a priest, and he was going to send me one, but never did. And this is as you can see at Chrysler, a little fuzzy. Now that gave you that other window. This is a church. What? Oh, there we go. That's the inside view of the scaffolding we had on the outside a while ago.
Art, did you have a lot of competitors for these projects, or were you pretty
None,
much-
that's why I'm successful. What I did, when I started out, I was a rookie, don't know what I'm doing. I had to start the business. And first of all, you make the contacts with all the architects in the whole area, on the state of Virginia. But I was artist in residence for the state of Virginia at the Virginia Museum. So I was able to go out at other times and talk to large groups of people about stained glass. So that helped my business because we did windows all over the state. This one is down in Amelia, and it was an existing window. They had just plain glass in it. And I thought that when they asked me to come down and design a window for them, I thought they were looking for something traditional. I mean, the church was over 100 years old. And look what they ended up with. A tree, and the glass in it is clearish glass, translucent. So when you're in the congregation and look out, you could see the trees behind the window. I was just amazed. It was the church's decision to do that. That was one of our first windows. When we went down there for the dedication, a lot of churches do that. They want us to come in and here's the artist and here's the guy. And people came up to me and gave me big hugs and tears in their eyes. And I thought, I must be doing the right thing. This is a great occupation. This is good. Lots of hugs. And this is a church in Kansas City, Missouri. And there are angel faces around there. And it's many, multi-panel. I may have another one there. There. Now see that little woman coming in there? That's my mom. My dad had died, and in her church there in Kansas City, we made a stained glass window, and all those angels out there are based upon the faces of their grandkids. Those are my grandkids around Kansas City. Spot some of the images around it. And that's the minister of the church walking in the door. Mom was kind of pleased. Yeah, and that too. That's a standard kind of a stained glass window. This represents, this is a Jewish temple up in Richmond. We did all the Bet Haba. I can't name the other two, my mind's going, but all the temples up there, we made windows for. For some reason, I think we did this one first, then the other churches said, hey, we want some too. This is the tobacco company downtown Richmond, and I think that's my last slide. I hope. Well, no, this one. We were down in Lynchburg, and you can't hardly see them, but we're up on scaffolding, and I've got 2 workers up there, and that's how you install a window that has multiple panels. And you make a steel frame, which we install, and then we have made these panels that are installed into the steel frame. And that's what they're doing, is putting in the panels. And, it happened to be the tallest steeple in the city of Lynchburg. It's on the south side. It was a new congregation, a new church. And the good thing about this photograph is that we weren't worried about anything collapsing on us. A lot of times we'll go into a church and it's quite old, and when you start working on the frames, when the wooden frame, they're a little fragile, they've been up there for 100 years. But this was all new construction here, so we were quite safe.
How do you fasten those?
I think that's it. I'm not, let me see. That's it.
How do you fasten those in there once you get them up there? So they're permanent.
Clips, and sometimes we had to make our own clips because we couldn't go down to Pleasance Hardware, which is a hardware store in Richmond, and get anything that made any sense. And when we make windows, we'd go into a congregation and talk about windows, and sometimes the little old lady in the back said, well, can you guarantee these windows? And we'd go, I guess, let's see. First of all, sometimes I'd say, well, everyone in this room, including you, will be long gone, and your grandkids will still have this window. It'll still be in place. It won't deteriorate. It won't weather. The materials don't weather. So we had to make these clips that clip onto it's an I-beam, is what it looks like. And you stick a little clip on that holds it. Then you putty, because these have to be waterproof. Tom Bowen's window is waterproofed, although I think it's on the inside of the thermopane glass. Yours is too. Yours is on flat glass. Yours was for sure. Yeah.
Does the steel rust?
It's a galvanized steel, but we still spray painted 2 coats of a Rust-Oleum black, but you want it to appear black. You want it that shines. Jesse.
Art, here you are, a college professor teaching PhD level. Why did you go into stained glass?
Well, I think Paul understands this. Maybe when you're teaching any class, you have the people that you're teaching have to come into you. Let's say you're a 4th grade teacher here in Matthews County, and there's a certain body of knowledge that you need. You've been hired to give them that information so they can move up to the next grade. So you're standing there. You can change it up, show slides or jump around or whatever you have to do. But the body of knowledge has to be presented. So I did that for 8 years at VCU, and these people keep coming in, and they move on, and you don't. You don't. And pretty soon, you see some guys on your faculty, even at VCU, even with guys with character and whatever, and you know that, Jason. They get a little lazy about it. Gosh, I got an 8 here. I've got tenure, and I've got, why should I? And I think it's important, it was for me at least, I wanted to do something else in the arts. That was my background, is art, drawing and painting and making things. And so I ran into a guy who was living in Richmond, who was doing stained glass windows out of his garage, a guy named Wayne Kane. And he asked me if I would do some drawings for him for some windows that he had commissioned. So I did the drawings. Of course, the first drawings I made were so elaborate. He said, wait, we can't make this out of glass. So I learned how to make my drawings fit that craft. Okay, so that you can make those. There's a limit to what you can do. When you see a face of Christ in a stained glass window, that's painted. So you can't take a little piece of glass, there's not enough space, it'll look ridiculous. But you paint it and fire it. And I've got a kiln at home, and I still fire pieces. I think your window has some glass like that. Yours does too, because there's feathers on there, and yours does too. And I'm working on a window for Jack right now, and I was down there over the weekend. And that's what you do. You go down and talk to Jack and his wife, and you don't try to convince Jack and his wife, here's what you really want. You just say, what do you want? And they have a great view down there in Bavon of the water. I mean, just really nice. And they're going to build a new house. So they're talking about they'd like to have it on the east side, looking out over the water. So I'm just kind of mental notes, but some written notes too, as to what they want. And I bring back one design, and they look at it and go, oh, God, this is horrible. This isn't what we talk about. So I make notes on that, scribble on it, and change things around. I changed Tom's around, made sure, so that it's the window belongs to the client. That's whose window it is. It's not yours. It's not mine. So eventually you bring something over that they say, okay. We did that with churches, some of those churches up there. That process maybe took 6 months to get to that point, because you got a committee of like 12 people, like you're sitting here, making those decisions. And the little old lady back with the blue hair, she has just as much voice on that committee as the guy up here knows what he's talking about. They all vote and say, well, I don't like the color red, or whatever, So it takes time. There's a process there doing it. I think we're over a hurdle now with Jack. And I've got.
That's what you think.
No, I've got a. It's too late because I went up yesterday afternoon, and in my studio, I got a studio in my house that I built a space in my attic, but it's quite big, and where I do all my layout work. I've got tables. I got all the stuff there, and I started on Jack's window. And once I start, Jack can call me, and I said, oh, he's out. Art Miller's out. I don't know. Yeah. Any other question?
Is the technology still letting the glass together? You talked about putting it in, but is the glass attached with lead solder?
I'll tell you, the windows that you go over to Europe and say, oh my God, look at that big rose window there. The same process, making the glass, leading the glass, installing it, and trying to waterproof it in some ways. It didn't have the same kind of putty that we use. Sometimes they use plaster, masonry to hold those windows in. But it's the same process that we still use, I still use. While I was doing this, I had some articles in the National Stained Glass Magazine, which I went out to Reno, Nevada, as a Keystone speaker on repairing windows. What exciting event that was. But everybody out there, is a stained glass person. So they were all interested in, how do you repair? And I had a series of articles in the National Stained Glass Magazine with my photograph, the one you saw that I showed you first. I was young, handsome, and all that stuff. And that, you do those things, and everything that you guys do, every one of you in your occupations and in your life, it was built on experience. It's your experience, and you build on that, whatever they are, that you become what you are today. And some of you now, I look at Justin, he knows my computer. He can look at it and tell what it needs. He just walks in the room and looks at, oh. He did notice my computer when he came in, I don't know, it's been 2 months ago, I guess. He noticed that it had broken off. And it was on my table in the back row of the computer. And I'd taken a drill and put 2 screws down that holds it in place. And I told Justin that if he ran into any customers who needed that kind of an adjustment, that I'd be glad to come over with my DeWalt drill and put some Phillips screwdrivers right down in there. That's awesome. That's probably about it.
Thank you, Art. Thank you for sharing, obviously, your passion, your life's work, and it always amazes me the level of talent and skills that we have in this room.
That's right.
That comes from all over the world, and we're lucky to have it here in the county, so thank you
right.
for sharing that. Anything else for the good of the group before we do four-way test? All right, we'll see you guys Friday afternoon, and four-way test.
Down there, we'll set some chairs up.
Sorry, thank you, Jack. The four-way test of the things we think, say, or do first.
Is it the truth?
Second.
Fair to all concerned.
Third.
Will it build a better friendship?
And fourth.
Beneficial to all concerned.
Absolutely. If anybody can help Jack out, let's stay behind and help out, please.